Hey guys, Thursday, January the 20th, 2011. Spent the last few days, the government come down with some new policies regarding mortgaging and lending and stuff like that. So I've spent the last few days getting some information from a bunch of different lenders that I like to use out there so that I could dumb it down so that we could all understand it better. Rule number one, the big change that they come out with is the amortization. They're going to knock it down from 35 years to 30 years as of March 18th. Not all that long ago, we were able to amortize over 40 years. Then they went down to 35 years, and as of March 18th this year, they're going to go back down to 30 years. But it wasn't even all that long ago that 25 years was our only option. It was the maximum. And I know the clients that I work with, especially first-time home buyers, I always put the numbers together for 25 years because I don't think it's a really intelligent decision to overextend yourself and pay off a mortgage for 30 to 40 years anyways. It's more interest, it's more money for the bank. Get your house paid off as quickly as possible. That's why I always recommend like a 25-year, do a bi-weekly payment, you can knock off like 7 years. So it used to be 40. As of today, it's 35. As of March 18th, you're only going to be able to amortize over 30 years. So I put some numbers together. $200,000 house paid bi-weekly over 5 years at a rate of 4.14% as of today at TD Bank. Over 35 years, you're looking at 413.12 every 2 weeks. Balance at the end of the term, 185,774, 37 cents. Take that same $200,000 home bi-weekly, 5 years, 4.14% over 30 years. 444.69 is your bi-weekly payment. You can see it's not that big a deal. At the end of the term, here's your savings, 181,224 and 55 cents. So it's a $4,549.82 saving over 5 years, mostly interest. Now I broke that down a little further. You're looking at $2.49 a day. All right. Your bi-weekly difference, which is $31.57 between the 444 and the 413. $2.25 a day. So you can see that now that you have to amortize over 35 years down to 30 years for a couple bucks a day, it's a large coffee and a muffin at Tim Hortons. Not that big a deal. Sellers, no big change unless you're about to refinance or you're considering refinancing. But you can play the variable game anyways. Rates are low. But if you're looking to sell, if you're thinking of selling, now's the time to get your home up for sales because there are going to be buyers out there that are going to want to take advantage of the extra 5 years for amortization before March 18th. So if you're looking to sell, I don't personally see a big influx of buyers. But then again, it all comes down to the bottom line. There's going to be a lot of buyers out there that are thinking, well, I get an extra 5 years to pay off my home. So if you're thinking of selling, now could be the time to do it. Second one is refinancing. You're going to be able to, right now, you can borrow up to 90% of the value of your property. As of March 18th, that's going to go down to 85%. Not a big deal, right? You can still buy a home for 5% down, although the government did want to change that to 10%. Thankfully, they didn't, so it's still 5%. So a buyer, you can still buy for 5%, but when you want to refinance, you're only going to be able to borrow against 85% of the value of your property. It's not a bad thing. It lessens your chances of becoming overextended and house poor, which is when I sit down with my initial consultation with my first-time home buyers, we go through that, and I always put the numbers together over 25 years, bi-weekly payments, to make sure that the house that they're going to buy or they're looking at purchasing, that they're not living for a home, that you're still able to go out for dinner, do some dancing, and take a holiday. You don't want to be house poor. Sellers, if you need some extra money and you have the equity in your home, you're going to want to do the refinancing on that before March 18th to take advantage of the 90% before it drops down to 85%. So if you're looking to do them, if you want to do some remodeling or renovations or whatever, take a holiday, right now you can borrow up to 90% of the property's value. After March 18th, you're only going to be able to borrow up to 85% of the property's value. Not a big deal. It just, there's more equity in your home. Great, that's what you want. Second homes. So if you own a home right now and you want to borrow money against your property to buy yourself your second property, until March 18th, you can borrow up to 90% of the value. The house that you're looking at buying the second home still requires a 20% down payment, as they will only finance you up to 80% of the value of the second home anyways. No change there. I personally feel the government's really looking out for our best interest. We have less than 1/4% of all our mortgages in default because of our strict lending policies. And, you have to have a job, a couple of years, credit rating, some money in the bank, right? It's just another plan to keep us as strong as we have been and are as a country. And the third thing, the government's no longer going to insure against home equity loans or lines of credit against your home. That's okay, because now all they're basically saying is, you know what, you're going to have a solid credit rating and some other form of collateral, such as the equity in your home, right? And again, they're only going to lend you up to 85% of the value in that anyways. So it's not a bad thing. It's just making us as people or as Canadians live within our means. So amortization period now, 35 years. After March 18th, you can only do 30 years. Not a bad, again, with the numbers that I showed you, a couple bucks a day, not going to make a big difference. If you're looking to sell and you know there's going to be buyers out there, they're going to want to take advantage and do this over 35 years, get your home up for sale now, give me a call. Let's do something. Refinancing is going to go from 90% down to 85% of the total value of your property after March 18th of this year, and no longer insuring against home equity loans or lines of credit. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always give me an email at alex@sweethomes.com. I'll be glad to help you. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, guys.